Money can't buy happiness, but you can indict Donald Trump, and that's kind of the same thing. Welcome to MOMocrats MOMochat, part of the DemCast family of podcasts. I'm Donna Schwartz Mills, here again with Aliza Worthington and Karoli of crooksandliars.com. And I actually have a t-shirt that says that I've had for like the last 5 years, you know?
Oh, really?
What does it say? That money can't buy happiness, but
You can indict Donald Trump, and that's kind of the same thing.
I like that. That's
that
one we
too.
should all have.
Yes,
And,
we should all
you
have
know,
those.
it needs to be washed, otherwise I would have worn it for today. So
I know, I can't believe it's not clean.
It's the perfect intro
It is.
to today's show because, we were just going to talk about the tragedy in Nashville atop the bigger tragedy that this keeps happening, and the fact that the right has been deflecting it into anti-trans rhetoric on Trans Visibility Day today.
Sure.
Right.
Well, all week, but yeah,
But that was going to be very, very grim for an hour, and I don't know about you, but yesterday's news dropped.
Shocking a lot of us.
And I was a happy camper.
Yeah. I am a happy camper. Absolutely a happy camper. And today's news is, just so that we have an overall summary right at the top, we can talk about everything later, is even better because today the judge basically said, yes, Fox News published a lot of lies about Dominion voting systems and the 2020 election in really clear terms. He said it's crystal clear.
Yeah, it's crystal clear. The case is not going to be dismissed. It's going to go to trial in Delaware.
Well, but it's only on trial as to whether it was malicious, whether the lies were spread with malice. That's the only issue that remains at trial. So they basically get to go in and say, hey, you know what? It's a fact. The judge has already found a fact, right? That they lied about it. Yeah. And all you got to figure out is, were they malicious? And I mean, stop and think about it. Why would they lie if not with malice, right? I mean,
they released some of that redacted stuff today too, right?
Yeah.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
And it shows without a doubt that Fox executives knew that all of the voting machine changing the vote crap was a lie.
It was all a lie.
All a lie.
All for ratings.
Yeah. So there's that. And then the last thing is that the person who was known as Ricky Vaughn, who texted or told Hillary voters they could vote via text message, was also convicted on all counts in New York. So we're right in the courts here, guys. It's been a long time coming.
What a happy court day.
It is a happy court day. Happy court day if you celebrate. I don't think that the Williams are celebrating today. They're very sad.
Yeah.
Well,
they're very sad.
Seeing justice actually served.
It seems like we might be
satisfying.
Yeah, this is just the beginning.
I mean, this is what we've always believed in. That in this country there is the rule of law.
Yeah.
Right.
And it applies to us all. And these pundits, these conservatives, so-called conservatives, who are complaining that we are going after a president, it makes us a banana republic. And that's the opposite. I mean, not pursuing the crimes.
Corruption. Not pursuing corruption and crimes,
and letting him get away with it because of his position. That's what makes a country a banana republic.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, it's only a banana republic if you can prove that it was totally politically motivated.
And it wasn't a banana republic somehow when they didn't think it was a banana republic when they impeached Bill Clinton.
That's right.
They
That was
didn't think it was
corruption.
Banana Republic when they all shouted, "Lock her up" at Hillary Clinton, who I hope is having the best bottle of Chardonnay she's ever
Oh
had in
my
her whole
God. I
entire
hope
life.
she is having
I
a
swear I
great
would send it to her
time.
if I could.
What a
Those
nice
were my
Right?
for her.
favorite memes yesterday. The smiling Hillarys, the drinking
Oh my
Hillarys,
goodness.
the Hillarys with
Sorry, I have to.
Obama and Biden laughing.
Oh my goodness.
I
Oh
know.
my
So many
goodness.
good ones. So
Yeah.
many good ones.
Yeah, really, really great ones.
So,
So we're
yeah, I
drinking
was.
conservative
And
tears right now.
uh,
MAGA
Hey,
tears.
I know,
nice,
I'm the only one
nice cup.
not using my mug.
Well, I would be drinking out of my F Trump one, but Gareth broke it.
Gareth.
Oh no! I
I
actually
know.
have that one full of pens right now at the moment. So yeah, 'cause that way it's on my desk every day and it reminds me to,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but yeah, well, I had the
I
billionaire tears
I
one,
love
but
that it's
that,
New York first.
Hmm?
Sorry, Karoli. I keep
yeah,
talking over people.
that's okay. No, it's good that it's New York first. I think that's great too. But I'll be really happy when those RICO charges roll out on,
Ooh.
from Georgia. That's yummy. And then, so today I was talking to somebody I've known for years and years and years, and he's a very non-technical person, and he's like, "So you have a podcast?" Yeah. Well, what is that exactly? So I'm trying to tell him what it is. He says, "Well,
Yeah.
don't you go on there." And he's a retired attorney. He said, "Don't you go on there and assume, that Trump is guilty. Not that I'd ever vote for Trump, but you have to give him the benefit of the doubt." And I'm like, "Yep." I said, "But you know what? When Jack Smith indicts him on seditious conspiracy, I'm going to celebrate."
We can celebrate an indictment.
Yeah.
We're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
We will say that, like everyone else in our system, he is considered innocent until proven guilty.
Of course
Yes.
he is. And
And
he's given a trial. He's given a fair trial
yeah.
and all that. He's
All
got
I
to
am also
challenge it in
saying,
court, and he will.
all I am also saying is that I'm glad I'm not in the jury pool because they would not accept me as a juror.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
it doesn't matter. If you were in the jury pool, they would accept you or not, and that would be,
They won't. They
right.
won't.
So,
the
I
problem
can't
is,
anymore
and
with
that's
it.
the problem, is
And that
that
is.
finding a jury in Manhattan of Donald Trump's peers
yeah.
is going to be a challenge, and they
Yeah.
only need one juror. So he's tainting the jury pool. He's working his butt off to taint the jury pool right now.
But he's been doing that for
months. Absolutely.
decades. I mean, New York has, find a New Yorker who doesn't know or have opinion about Donald Trump. That's already going to be the most difficult part of this.
Yeah.
So
there's already speculation they're going to try to move it to Long Island.
Oh, sure thing.
or Staten Island, if he was smart, he would try to get him to Staten Island. But
that at least would be in the district.
I mean, that would at least, give him a fighting chance. But,
So, but the thing that I want to say is that the right wing's going crazy, right? And they're saying it's all a political persecution, blah, blah, blah. The DA didn't make this indictment by himself, right?
Yeah.
It was ordinary people on a grand jury who voted to indict him.
That's right.
34 counts.
And everybody who's saying it's a weak case, a reminder that the indictment hasn't been unsealed. We do not know what is in that indictment.
Right.
Several sources have reported there are 30 counts or more.
I thought.
34 is what I've heard. But again, my friend, the retired lawyer, said to me, beware. Because until you see it, you don't know.
Right.
So,
so it sounds to me there's a lot more to it than Michael Cohen and Stormy Daniels.
Yeah.
It does seem that way, doesn't it? Because
I can't
how many checks were written?
Counts out of that thing,
And the catch and kill for Lyndon McDougal would yield not that many either, because that was basically a thing between David Pecker and I know. I can't.
Okay, we're all 12-year-old boys.
No, it's the meme somebody put up where they put this fake Chiron on MSNBC talking about the leaky pecker,
Trump doesn't want Pecker to leak. Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoyed that meme. That was one of the better ones I've seen. I'm sorry, but
I'm not embarrassed.
It definitely was one of the better ones. So there's that. Oh my goodness. But it's just it's nice to not be on indictment watch and actually know that there are indictments and that maybe justice is going to be done.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
It's nice to see do something Twitter shut up for a while.
Right.
Please. Can they
seriously? Also, Nicole Wallace. I'm sorry, but she's been horrible. She's been awful. And now she's like, oh, we have some indictments. Yay.
Yeah, she really has been. She's joined right with them, hasn't she?
Yeah. But she's been another one that's just been insufferable, Why DOJ doesn't do anything, Merrick Garland doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Well, I think these former Republicans are angrier even than we are.
Yeah.
Well, they love to tell us how to be they love to tell us how to do things, don't they?
Are we talking about John Kasich again?
well, yeah. And anybody on the Lincoln Project, all those guys.
Yeah, but John Kasich is getting paid to tell us what to do on MSNBC, and that's kind of
that's pretty shitty. And then what did it? Oh, and then Mick Mulvaney was hired by CBS, and
Yeah, that's CBS. Speaking of CBS, who else is not watching 60 Minutes this week?
Right, because
Leslie Stahl interviewing Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I think I'll do a big pass on that. Thank you.
Yeah, no thanks. No thanks.
Why? Why is she doing that? I don't know why. Marjorie Taylor Greene must be on some big PR campaign.
She has nothing of value to say on any topic.
Right. She is.
But CBS is trying to legitimize her.
Why?
Why?
I don't know.
I don't understand.
Because when Kevin isn't there, she's in charge of the house, I guess.
Well, but that's like the people that sit up there in that seat are the junior members. That's the thing. Yeah. It's like you get
it's
to
not a seniority thing, right? That's not a
you don't get to do anything else. You just have to sit there and
say next.
Yeah. The gentleman from such and such.
That image of her presiding is like
I know,
it is. I actually didn't look. I just heard. I mean, I could just listen to C-SPAN and I heard her.
It's hard.
Ish. I mean, whatever. She's one that's just, I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to give her any more attention.
That's why we're not watching 60 Minutes this week.
No, we are not watching 60 Minutes this week. So, and did we talk? Let's see what. Oh, we did. We did the Hillary meme guy, which is good. I mean, there's been a couple of other convictions of January 6th defendants this week.
Yes.
To one of whom was one of the guys that was hitting cops and had an axe with them, and so they basically convicted him of assault with a deadly weapon, in all the other counts. But weirdly, the flagpole was not considered a weapon in their list. It's like the axe was and the something else was, but not the flagpole.
I wonder why not.
I don't know. Maybe he didn't actually hit anybody with the flagpole. That's a possibility too. I mean, if you have an axe, why are you going to use the flagpole? I don't know.
That makes sense.
I mean, the dude had an axe, and it's an evil-looking axe too. It's all metal. There's no wooden handle on it at all.
Really?
Yeah, it's just like this metal, like
Middle
one
Ages
piece.
Or something? Holy moly!
No, it's more like imagine a lightweight axe, right? Not a big one, but it's all cast out of one piece of metal. Ugh. It looks really evil. No matter what side you got hit with on that thing, it would hurt. Whether it was the axe or the handle. So he got convicted.
They did let Jacob Chansley out on
he's in a halfway house.
I mean, he's in a halfway house, and he's, I guess, got the good behavior credits or whatever that they get for, so I mean, it annoys me only because Elon Musk made such a fucking big deal out of him.
Yes.
After Tucker Carlson did. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Free him. Free Jacob Chansley's. But it sounds like he would have been anyway.
Yeah. It sounds like it was a routine type of release. And he has served like 2 years.
Right. Right. So, did any of you guys see like the Maggie Haberman thing with
I can't stomach her. No, I wouldn't. If I saw her come on a news show, I would turn it off.
This is the way that she framed.
I heard that she was. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, so no, I mean, I can't either, and this is why. So she's telling everybody they were really stunned in Trump world on Friday when this news came out. And he's really fearful about being arrested. But are we supposed? This is all like the tiniest violin, is right? I mean, cry me one big salt tear and everything. It just drives me crazy the way she constantly normalizes him.
Well, earlier in the week, Karoli, and I know that you pointed this out in social media, is that she framed an article about him and how he was restraining himself on the campaign trail.
Yeah, holding back.
Yeah.
You mean when he was holding a bat to Alvin Bragg's head, like that was restraining himself?
Or going to Waco?
He deleted it.
Going to Waco?
Yeah, going to Waco was somehow restraining himself.
That shows
your retribution. That's
like having them like hold their hands over their hearts to the insurrection.
Right.
#1 song on iTunes.
Are you kidding me?
Okay.
That piece of crap song?
That piece of crap song. Okay, it's #1 in sales, but it doesn't even hit the Hot 100 in listens.
Okay.
The way the stuff's computed now is very different from the years when I worked in radio, right?
So
it's not all about sales anymore. It's about the streaming.
So the grift goes on. With this stupid
they're treating this crappy record, this crappy recording, like they do the crappy books.
Yeah,
right, exactly.
Get up to #1 on the New York Times bestseller list, and then they say it's. Trump goes to #1 beating Taylor Swift.
Right.
We got my dog interested.
Hello.
Oh, hi, dog.
Yeah, she's
kitty girl.
Is she scratching her little hole in the bed so that she can lay down, getting rid of all the leaves?
Scratching a hole in the bed. You're not doing that.
You know what I mean.
Yes, she was making her nest.
A little nest.
Yeah. Right. And they turn around and then ball up in a little ball.
Yeah, she's
so cute.
But she's still looking at us. She's like, who else is talking to you?
Okay. So anyway, where were we?
We were talking about
We were talking about Trump being more popular.
Oh, right. Haberman's, incredibly
Haberman.
Accurate framing of Trump. Oh my God.
The business about him being, really fearful and afraid of being arrested. And he has been for decades, you guys. For decades.
Maybe he should.
Why would he be arrested? Why would he be afraid of that?
No, he wanted a perp walk, didn't he? He wanted to be. Doesn't he want to be? He wants to be in handcuffs. I thought he wanted
Yeah,
he
me
wanted
too.
the whole show.
So now they're saying he's going to fly in Monday and surrender Tuesday. Yesterday, honestly, in what I think was one of the dumbest MSNBC things ever, they had a camera on his stupid plane out in Florida at the airport.
They keep doing that. They were doing
that. So dumb.
While they were reporting that he's flying up there Monday, they're showing the plane.
Is that like the equivalent of the empty podium now?
Yes,
the new
exactly.
Yeah,
the empty podium. Oh my God.
And I'm thinking to myself, why does he have a plane like that anyway? I mean, it's like he wants to be the other president?
He still thinks he's president. He still probably calls it Air Force One.
No,
I'm sure he does.
Force One.
It's Trump Force One, yeah.
Trump Force One.
And meanwhile,
like the fake Oval Office he built in Mar-a-Lago.
God,
I just can't.
I didn't know about that. I didn't know about that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He built an Oval Office in Mar-a-Lago. Aw,
yeah,
that's so cute.
And this is a Republican thing, I think, because Elton Gallagher out here was our representative for like 23 years and never did a damn thing while he was doing that.
Awful.
And he made Cal Lutheran University build like a replica office of his office in Washington, D.C. And then donated all his papers, and they took it down because they needed the space for something else. And he sued them and forced them to put it back.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You know who else has a replica of the Oval Office?
Who?
What's his name? The Republican strategist, on language.
Frank Luntz.
Yes, he's got one in his house.
Okay.
That's just weird. That's like a fetish. That's just very strange.
Isn't it weird?
You think?
Like, you think Roger Stone has one too, maybe?
Oh
no,
my
she just has a tattoo of Nixon.
Roger Stone has Nixon's Oval Office probably in his.
I think it comes down to this whole thing where they do not believe any elected Democrat is legitimate.
Right. No, they don't.
They believe the White House belongs to them. And when they lose, it is not for real. Right. That's why they went in so hard on Clinton.
Yep.
That and all the other reasons are why they went in so hard on Obama.
Yeah.
There was a little extra reason why they went.
Yeah. I know.
Absolutely.
And it's why they spread these horrible lies about Biden.
I saw a great meme, though, with Obama shaking Trump's hand saying, "My birth certificate stapled to the back of your indictment."
Yes.
I haven't seen that one. That's perfect.
That made me laugh. But, like going back to like the stupid empty podium shit and like showing like, top down views of his stupid ass plane. Meanwhile, Vice President Kamala Harris hasn't gotten a millisecond of media coverage.
She's gotten a millisecond. She's gotten a millisecond, a little bit.
Where?
Well,
I did see on AP, but on TV, Lawrence O'Donnell, I think, ran something on
Lawrence O'Donnell did.
Okay, yeah.
Joy did too, but it's been a millisecond.
Seriously,
yeah. So like that much of one.
Third, and pre yesterday, which I'll admit is yes, it's big news that he got indicted, but before all that, the week and a half of indictment watch, she was in Africa nearly that entire time.
And she's been knocking them dead over there.
Knocking them dead everywhere. You see these videos of presidents and prime ministers of these countries, and just and the joy in her face and in the people's faces greeting her, and the $1 billion investments she's announcing for women and small businesses in these countries, and nothing.
And here's the thing that's interesting about that too, is one of the reasons that she's there and one of the reasons that she's partnering and doing all these things is to keep the Chinese and Russian influence out of Africa. I mean, it's a major big deal. What?
It is a big deal because
the U.S. has mostly ignored Africa, other than W's HIV initiative.
Right.
And this is one of the ways in which she is playing a huge and important role.
Yeah.
In this administration and doing something big.
Yes.
For the world, for science, for business, for the economy, for our standing. And she's getting like, I know the 19th is covering it. Eugene Daniels is, I guess he's the one with Politico, right?
He's the one with Politico, yeah.
Aaron Haynes is with her in Africa for the 19th. And maybe a couple of other AP is there, but like we're hearing virtually nothing except for the people on Twitter I know that are just blasting it everywhere. Since nobody else is talking about it, here's a picture, here's a video, here's the AP stream of her landing in
the
Ghana.
White House has been trying to blast a little bit too.
Trying,
and,
yes, they have.
Daniels is their White House correspondent for Politico, and that's what
right.
And I just wanted to get that in there because
absolutely
we should absolutely
that's
be
on our rundown.
That's
on our rundown for today.
See the rundown I never read. I'm so terrible.
It's okay. That's just there for if we forget to mention it. Lull, and we're going, okay, what did we not talk? Because it's impossible to talk about it all. But I thought it was very interesting to read the article that says that the White House is finally starting to push back against all of the backbiting against Vice President Harris.
Yeah. Well, it's about time.
It's about time.
Yeah, it is about those 2 years that they've been throwing
they've
been
ignoring her.
Yes.
The press has been basically ever since she was sworn in. She, unless she's standing behind Biden or breaking a tie in the Senate, you don't ever hear anything about her.
They're putting out false stories. They're putting out stories about that she's that there are problems in her office and that
she can't manage and that's
the issue because
and that's what needs to be
standard procedure to ignore the vice president.
Yeah,
even a historic one like this one. But they're not just ignoring her. They only bring her up when they have something negative to report.
Right.
And they're looking for things and people that don't even seem to know her are being quoted on things.
Because she bought a Le Creuset pot when she was in France, knocking them dead.
Yeah. Just stupid shit.
That one drove me crazy, the Le Creuset one, because I spent big bucks to buy a Le Creuset too because I really like them and I don't regret it for even a minute.
A Le Creuset pot.
And she's a cook.
If you're a cook and she's a cook, a Le Creuset pot is a nice thing to have in your collection.
And
they have a lifetime warranty.
Yes.
Right? So you could buy a cheap pot at Target, but it's not going to last you for decades.
Right.
What did Mike Pence buy when he traveled? Is anybody scrutinizing the things that he bought when he traveled?
Nobody cares.
Does anybody
Speaking of Mike Pence, have you ever seen a bigger coward than Mike Pence?
No.
No, but the question is, does
I guarantee
scrutinizing what his purchases abroad and nobody scrutinized Biden's purchases when he was abroad for Obama.
I guarantee you Kamala's Le Creuset pot probably costs less than the golf clubs these dudes buy.
Oh, I'm sure.
Guaranteed.
Promise you that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
They are not cheap.
No.
So, yeah, I know. It's ridiculous. It's so stupid that they does anybody remember what Al Gore bought when he was abroad for Clinton? I don't think so. I mean, it's it's
so where are you seeing that they're starting to push back? Is this
I think that was also a Politico story.
Okay.
And I did, I have seen the White House, congratulating her on what a great job she is doing in Africa.
Good.
Yeah.
And it was, there was some entertainment coverage too, because you had Cheryl Lee Ralph there in Ghana.
Yeah.
Right.
And so there was a lot of glamour. That dress, the dress Kamala wore. My goodness.
Yes, on a shallow level, she's been fucking stunning.
Yeah.
She's been gorgeous.
But she has also touched people. When she broke down and cried at that old prison where the women were held before they were put on the slave ships and brought over here.
Yeah.
And she had to scrap her prepared remarks because it was such a profound thing to experience. I mean, much like we feel when we tour a place like Auschwitz, it's the same, something horrible happened.
Yeah.
To
being in that place
to
is
people. And it's overwhelming. You can't help but feel that way. And I think that was a very emotional moment that people can relate to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one they put on MSNBC, by the way. That's the
Yes.
one that Joy did, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, that whole tour has been awesome for her.
Yeah,
and she's been
stellar.
and it's not the first one like that. I
No,
mean,
because
everywhere
she's
she
been Latin
goes,
America. She's been great.
yeah,
She's knocking them dead everywhere.
Yeah.
right.
She is an asset to this
Yeah.
administration, and it pisses me off that there are people who try to tear her down.
All the time.
And people who are like,
we can't win with her. They
looking to
say
replace her.
bullshit. They won with her in the first place.
Yeah.
Exactly.
In fact, having her on the ticket is part of the reason they won.
Yeah.
Because Democrats can't win without the energy of Black women voters.
That's right.
That's right.
They are a key part of our base.
They are a
And why
huge part
does
of
the Democratic Party disrespect its base?
It's nuts.
I mean, what the hell?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, I mean, it's mostly Republicans telling us that too, I think. I mean, you hear that it's some Democrats say, but it's actually, I think it's Republicans that say that.
Yeah, I think you're right, Karoli. I think that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
because,
they want to discourage us.
Their marching orders from the Republicans. They frame the whole conversation. Why is that?
Yep.
That's
why do you suppose that is? What could it be? What could it be? Yeah, that and
can we talk about, I'm sorry to move back towards the reaction on the indictment.
No, it's fine.
The coordination of the talking points, where every single person who was critical of the indictment was using the same talking point, the same language, that that Bragg is the Soros-aligned prosecutor. I think DeSantis's announcement that he would not allow an extradition, which is bullshit, because there isn't going to be an extradition, and if there was an extradition by law, he has to allow it. But never mind that.
Yeah.
He talked about the Soros-aligned prosecution twice in the same tweet, right?
Right.
And they're all using the same exact language. I mean, Karoli, I guess they're all on the same listserv. They're getting the same.
Yeah, pretty much
simultaneously.
Yeah, more or less. I mean, that's what they're getting the talking points from, wherever, whatever list they're on. But it's all coming. Oh yeah, well, I'm sure Jenny's in there somewhere. But I mean, the whole and by the way, we have some too. So ours are nobody is above the law. Hello. Right. And our other one is that the grand jury is not appointed by George Soros. I mean, they're ordinary people. Right?
And as Judd Legume showed in his newsletter, that the very tenuous connection to Soros has to do with a donation that Soros made to Color for Change.
Right. It was Color for Change that was behind Alvin Bragg.
Right.
I mean, they
gave him a $500,000 donation, but a lot of other people donate to Color for Change. Color for Change is doing a lot more advocacy than just that. And
Right.
so
Well, Exchange is a
it's a
great
very
organization.
tenuous connection and not a direct connection whatsoever.
Yeah, and they really hate Color for Change because they've been such an active,
Because it's so effective.
Right.
right. So, you know, they're the whole business. I mean, every time they start this stuff with George Soros, which has been as long as I've been paying attention to politics,
Oh, it's
right?
been
I'm
so
like,
long.
where's my check? Hello? I mean, I haven't gotten a
So
check.
Again, the projection is utterly amazing because when you look at their infrastructure and the dark money
Yeah.
and everything that comes from the Kochs and the
Yeah.
Mercers and
Right.
the DeVosses and, you know, just this hydra of billionaire money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the only one they can name for us is Soros.
Yeah.
Right.
And Soros doesn't donate in dark donations.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
That's why they can nail him.
That's why they're able to identify him.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. It is projection. It's total projection. And speaking of that, Ginny Thomas raked in $600,000 in, you know, for her group. And I
All
still
dark.
haven't verified whether or not, all dark,
Yeah.
whether or not Clarence Thomas has actually declared that on his
He
disclosures.
doesn't have to, does he?
Well, I think that there are some new rules now, and there are some things he's going to have.
Yeah, about the
He has to
rules.
disclose. So there are I've been so swamped with all of the other things that are going on that I haven't had a chance to actually look at the rules to see what they are. But I do think he has some that he has to comply with now that he didn't have to comply with before. So that's good.
Who enforces
made
it?
these rules? Where did they come from?
Well, I think so.
Sheldon
Again,
Whitehouse had something to do with it, didn't he?
like maybe next week I'll have, Sheldon Whitehouse had something to do with it. So I don't know if the Senate basically imposed some new rules on them. I don't know. I haven't had time to pay attention to it. Next week I'll tell you.
Yeah, I want to pay attention to that.
Not
Actually, what I want is for you to pay attention to it and explain it.
and tell us about it.
Well, I just really want her to. I want to know that Clarence Thomas disclosed that. That's what I want to know. And my guess is that he, like before, when she got $700,000, it wasn't disclosed.
Yeah.
Somebody had
Not
to make him
until-
go back and do it.
Yeah.
So that's that. But as long as we're on the good news train and we haven't gone to the bad news side yet,
Yeah.
can we just celebrate how Mickey Mouse punked Ron?
Yes, anytime.
Until yesterday afternoon. That was the high point of my week.
Right? Mine too. Like that was amazing. So Ron DeSantis, stripped Disney of their special status that gave them the right to basically manage this property, and in return they had to have their own fire department and all the police department and all that. He took that away from them, and so I guess the goal for DeSantis was that to punish Disney for being,
for saying gay.
For saying gay, right?
For supporting their gay employees and customers.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And they're having first we had the news that they're having this big gay conference out at Disney
for the next 2 years.
For the next 2 years. Big conference.
Yeah.
And that was great. And then we found out that just before DeSantis took over their property, they basically amended the bylaws in such a way that they have absolute control over the development of that property.
Forever. Or until the last descendant of Charles III turns 21.
King Charles III.
No, I thought it was 21 years after the last descendant
dies.
Right. After the last descendant dies.
And that's a long time from now because there's lots of descendants. So
there are lots of descendants.
Right.
Yeah,
Lawyer Twitter was just cracking up over that because I
it
guess
was
that was a
perfect.
chapter that they all struggled with.
Yes.
But what's also perfect is that this new board that DeSantis had appointed, a Christian right guy,
Yeah,
donors, Moms for Liberty type people,
great.
that were going to, Disney would not be able to do anything to their parks, make any changes without their permission.
Right. That was the whole goal.
Right. And so
Not
now
now. They're going to
DeSantis
have to
will be
wait.
taking them to court, but in the meantime, it was the last act of the old board,
Right. And
and
it was done in public.
it was done in public. They were just too stupid to read it.
Too stupid and arrogant. Right? They won't do anything. We're the powerful ones. They're not powerful.
They don't
Right?
know how to write a contract. They
Exactly.
don't know how to write a bylaw. Oh my
You
God.
know, it part of the fun was that most people know what badasses Disney's legal department is.
Oh yeah.
I'll tell you, when I worked at the Tonight Show, we did this bit where we left little notes in ladies' rooms all over the city.
Uh-huh.
And the note said, for a good time, no, for a lot of laughs, call John. And during this time, and they would call during the show. We had a special phone number set up. And if anybody called, Johnny was going to tell them a joke. Call John. It didn't say it was from the Tonight Show.
Right.
And so I was going into like all these clubs and stuff in the San Fernando Valley. Like I just went down Ventura Boulevard, went to all these ladies' rooms, went to these Post-it notes. And I had spent the whole weekend writing this out on hundreds of Post-it notes, right? But our researcher had gotten a pass to Disneyland. So she stuck them in the ladies' room at Disneyland.
No.
And so that afternoon, we plug in the phone. The very first call comes in, and it's a Disney attorney telling us to cease and desist.
Oh my goodness.
They don't mess around.
They
So
do
no
not.
If you put these Post-it notes up there, then they were taking it down, and then they wanted to punish us,
Oh no. They are badass. Holy moly.
They are.
Yeah. Well, they were certainly badass on this, and I just think it's awesome. This board is so pissed that they don't have any power.
Yes.
None whatsoever. And Disney's like, and we're gonna develop it to the highest density we can.
Yeah. Good for Disney.
I love it. Love it. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, I don't always root for Disney, but in this case,
No,
it
me
was
neither.
delicious.
Yeah, this was one where
the history of behind Disney is not great, but I can get behind what they're doing now.
Oh yeah.
Same.
And the in sort of related news, if we'll stay on the good news train for just another minute, in Maryland last night, the General Assembly approved the Trans Health Equity Act. So Medicaid is so basically it's starting January 1st. Medicaid will cover many more services for trans patients.
That's wonderful.
And that Westmore is going to sign, it's headed to the governor's desk and he's pledged to sign it and all that. So that was really good news. That happened yesterday. And also the constitutional amendment is going to be on the ballot in 2024 for to codify make abortion legal as part of the Maryland Constitution.
That's wonderful.
Awesome.
So
it's especially
came out last night in just in time for Trans Visibility Day.
Yes.
Today.
Yeah.
Well, and especially this week, that's good because boy, oh boy, it's been tough anyway.
Yeah.
So, we all understand that what the right wing is doing to trans people is it's just their new, I don't mean just, but it is their new way to gin up their base. That's what I mean. They don't really care whether people are trans or not. They really don't.
No, they don't.
But because it's something that they can put out there that people don't understand, fully, and it's
Very
kind of scary
to
and
when
everything.
So and gay marriage.
Right.
Gay marriage things were on all the ballots to gin up their base.
Their base. Right. And this is no different. It's, they lost the gay marriage battle, although they may re-win it. We don't know yet, but they lost that, so that now they're on to trans people. And it's just it's a way to other somebody. That's what they're trying to do, is just other people. So this week we had this horrible tragedy in Nashville that's just unspeakable to me. Every time this happens, I just have such a hard time with it, because it always goes the same way. We all pour our guts out over it. We're, just horrified. We demand that something be done. There's a lot of, sound and fury about it. And then there's sound and fury from the other side. And then, and they're like, no, you're not going to take our guns away, and blah, blah, blah. And nothing gets done. It's just, frustrates the shit out of me
this time, because you've got the Nashville congressman who just comes out and says, no, we're not going to do anything.
We're not going to do anything.
We're not going to fix it.
And on top of that, I don't care, because I homeschool my kids.
Yeah, I homeschool them. Because they said the reporter asked him, how do you protect your child?
Yeah, I homeschool them.
I homeschool them was the answer.
And which is the future they want for all our kids, because the whole point of this is to make us afraid, to gut public education, because public education is the great democratizer.
Right.
Public education and an informed electorate is what makes everything work.
The shit out of them.
That's right.
Right.
And so this has been a decades long.
Yeah. I see. It's just you end up being reduced to this, right? Where you're just like, how do we keep doing this over and over again and playing the same record? Different venues, same issue. So in this version, we have a private Christian school that is terrorized, and where children are murdered by somebody
who really wanted to commit suicide by cop, but thought
that's what she wanted.
They thought they'd take some people along with them.
Right. I don't, and this is a situation where I actually don't know if they're trans, but they were at least trans curious enough to put he, him pronouns on a profile. Right. And that's all it took for the right wing to just pick up and run with it, right? Christians are being persecuted. Look at this person. They were a trans activist. I mean, Fox News turned somebody who's trans curious into a trans activist.
And somebody who was anti-Christian when it was somebody who had actually attended that school as a child.
Right. Yeah. And my suspicion is that, and we put this on our site, that there was a molestation scandal at that school.
Yep.
And at the same time that she would have attended that school, we don't do we know if it was her? No, we don't know if it was her.
No,
but even if it wasn't, that person who was doing the molesting did leave the school, and it was a scandal. And so even if it wasn't her, it still affected her in profound ways. I guarantee you. I mean, when somebody like that,
any person,
right? And so, yes, it was a suicide by cop, but she took out 6 people.
Yeah.
3 children, 3 adults.
Yeah.
Horrifying. I don't know.
Just horrifying.
It is horrifying.
I remember Columbine, and that was
me too.
That was our children were very young, Karoli, and you too, Aliza.
I didn't have
you didn't have children yet then? 97?
97.
99 was Columbine.
Excuse me.
Oh,
Mhm.
then I did have, Emma was 3 and Nikki was 1.
Yeah, so I mean, I
Mhm.
remember Columbine, and that was horrifying.
Mhm.
And it was such a it had not happened like this before.
Yeah.
You know, there had been some school shootings, but nothing like what we have now.
Yeah.
And it was unthinkable that we would have a situation like we have now where guns are the biggest killer of children in this country.
I know.
And
And we
I
can't
remember
do anything about it.
right.
It's driving me crazy that we can't do anything about it because
Yeah.
and 62% of people want to get rid of assault weapons. Right? That's a super majority in this country
Yeah.
or close to it.
And it doesn't, the legislature is hamstrung by
Well,
the minority.
you also have the logistical nightmare of what you do if we actually got to enact something.
Because of the
When you've
number that's
got
out there already.
because you've got hundreds of millions of AR-15s in the hands of people who want to use them.
Yeah, I mean
For
the
hunting.
horse is out of the barn.
Are you reading any of this Jeff Charlotte stuff and other reporters
No, who's
that
that?
are talking about, you know, the very fringe right wing preparing for civil war and being very serious about it? I mean,
Yeah.
even the
Is that
Washington
anything
Post,
new?
even the Washington Post had something today where they looked at both left wing and right wing people who are arming themselves
Oh my God.
for the Civil War.
Is that new though on the right wing? I thought that was
No,
It's more
it's not new.
prevalent. It's not new, but it's more widespread.
Right. And AR-15s are their weapon of choice.
Right.
Well, sure they are, because I mean they can spray bullets,
And the
far and
cops
wide.
and cops don't have a lot of protection against them, which is part of the reason why Uvalde was such a disaster, because they were
Yeah.
terrified of the guy with the
With an
AR-15.
AR-15.
Whereas I
Whereas
think
the Nashville cops,
the thing in Nashville, the cops went ahead, but I think because the shooter in Nashville wanted to get killed, I think that if they had been more militant about it, those cops that rushed to save, I mean, there would have been more deaths, not just 6.
what
Yeah. I agree.
have we gotten access to the manifesto that they left?
No.
So we don't know what was in that. Okay.
As far as
No.
I know, that hasn't been made public yet.
Okay.
It may never be. We may
It may
never
never
find
be. I
out.
was just curious.
But I mean, you can assume, I think, from the actions they took that there was they were suicidal.
Yeah. They sent
And
messages to friends saying,
yeah,
I'm saying goodbye,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah. So I
And
mean,
so their friends were trying to get somebody to intervene because they were like suicide messages.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea
they called the
what they were
police. The
being done.
problem was the
Yeah.
friends called the police.
Oh, the
The
friends
problem
called the
was
police.
there wasn't a tie between that and the shooting at
And the
that. I mean,
school.
there was no way, like calling in and saying my friend is suicidal, can you do a welfare check or whatever, would have been fine, except that they wouldn't have tied that. By the time that they went to do the welfare check, she was already at the school
They
shooting.
were already at the school. They wouldn't have said, "Can
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
see if my
Right.
friend is shooting up a school?" Right.
Right, because they didn't know
There
that
was
from
no
the
indication
messages.
that was what was going to happen.
Right.
Right. So, I mean, it was just all around a tragedy. I don't understand. I don't understand wanting to commit suicide and taking kids with you. I don't understand at all.
No. No.
That there I I can't. The only thing that makes the slightest bit of sense to me is that they might have been abused at the school or by someone at the school. That's the only thing that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
The wanting to take kids with you doesn't make sense to me as a standalone.
Right.
Motive.
It doesn't to me either.
Only if it's connected to wanting to hurt other people at the school. People whose parents have hurt you, or people, just as collateral damage to hurting the adults in the school who have hurt you. As that's the only thing that makes sense to me. I
agree.
Yeah.
And even that is hard to
even
wrap my head around.
To wrap your brain around, but when people are dissociated or just so deeply traumatized, and I mean, I know nothing. I'm not even. I'm obviously not a psychologist, but
I feel awful for all the families.
Yeah, I do too.
I feel sorry for the shooter's family because they were trying to get her help.
They were. They didn't. Apparently, they didn't know that they had that many guns. They
didn't want her having any guns.
They didn't want them having guns.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm just going with they because I don't know.
I know.
Yeah, they is probably a good way to go.
Yes. And I'm, as from what I understand, the parents thought that they had one and wanted them not to have even that one. And
they got rid of the one they knew about.
That got rid of the one they knew about and didn't realize that there were 6 others?
Yeah.
That they didn't know about.
Yeah.
So this must be just unbelievably devastating for the parents.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, when reporters called the house and the mother said, I can't talk to you right now. I think I lost my daughter this morning.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just a tragedy all around, and it's the fucking guns.
Yeah.
It's the fucking guns, and fuck anybody who blames it on transgender issues or blames the transgender community.
It's the guns.
Fucking guns.
Yep. Out of the hundreds of mass shootings over the last 10 years, maybe 4 were committed by people who were transgender, and most of the rest were cis white men.
Right.
And again, exactly. I could very easily see this being if it wasn't a molestation issue, it could have very easily been a suppression. Like, this is a school that told me I shouldn't exist because I'm trans.
Well, and it could be that the counseling she was getting, they were getting was also in that vein. That was what made me think about it too. Yeah. Was that if that was the counseling that they were getting, and for their depression and acting out, then that could also be part of the whole thing. So it's like, what are we doing?
Who knows? It's just,
we need better resources for mental health, and we need to get rid of all these semi-automatic weapons.
Yeah, yes. And the thing that kills me is that when the Republicans are try to blame it on mental health issues, I always say to them, well, find me a Republican that votes in favor of funding for mental health.
They don't.
Right.
Yeah. Find me that. Show me where you not voted down.
Yeah.
Since when do you give a good goddamn about mental health?
Well, you guys, we have a minute left. We haven't talked about the judge in Texas that gutted another big part of the ACA.
So can I just raise my hand and say something encouraging about that? This judge has been overturned every single time he's gone after the ACA.
That's true.
That's the only thing that gives me hope.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't see insurance companies changing everything around because of that.
Yeah.
Because, okay. That's all.
That does give me hope.
Okay, so we'll end on that hopeful note.
Yes.
We'll have more to say next week.
I can't wait till Tuesday.
Join us then on YouTube, MOMocrats.buzzsprout.com, or your favorite podcast service such as iTunes, Google, and Amazon Music. And be sure to check our Facebook page for updates. I'm Donna Schwartz Mills with Karoli and Aliza Worthington saying goodbye. Bye.
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 MOMocrats MOMochat is part of the DemCast family of podcasts.